So hello everyone and welcome to this afternoon's webinar on the University of Liverpool's online programmes. My name is Ben and I work in the marketing team. For today's agenda, we've got lots of great speakers, I'm pleased to say. We're going to be talking about the online postgraduate programmes that the university offers. There's going to be a demonstration of the virtual learning environment to give you an idea of what it's like to be an online student with us. We've got our student services team and they're going to be talking about how students will be supported during their studies. We've also got our admissions team with us today and we're going to be taking a look at the admissions and enrolment process. We have got time at the end for any questions that you might have. So if you've not used or attended a Zoom webinar before, you can ask questions during this session. There's a Q&A button if you're on a desktop or laptop computer that you would see towards the bottom of your screen. We've also got the chat feature as well. We'd love to kind of see any questions coming in during the course of the webinar. We have set aside the time at the end to review and answer those questions and also take questions during that time. So please do let us know as we go along using either the chat or the Q&A if you have got any questions as we kind of go through things today. Delighted to say joined by a number of speakers from different teams. We have Ida Kemp, our Deputy Academic Director, who's going to be talking about the university and the different online programmes we offer. We've got Stephen Livesey, our Director of Learning Technology, who's going to be demonstrating the virtual learning platform. We have Rachel from our student services team, and she is also joined today by Teresa Rodriguez, one of our study skills advisors, and Matt Tamplin, our Head of Experience and Welfare. So they're going to be talking to you about the different student service functions. And lastly, we've got Abigail Hamilton from our admissions team, who'll be talking about the admissions and enrolment process. So the webinar is going to be recorded and a recording will be shared afterwards with everybody who registered, and we'll also put the recording on our YouTube channel as well. So there will be a chance after today for you to refer back to the webinar and to take a look at any parts that were of interest to you again. So at this point, Ida, if you want to unmute yourself, I will hand over to you. So Ida, do you want to take over from this slide? Thank you.
Thank you. So welcome everyone. Oops. Welcome everyone, and thank you for coming today. My name is Ida Kemp and I'm the Deputy Academic Director, as Ben has already said. I've been working in the higher education sector for over 20 years and I'm really excited to be involved in this project. We're working really closely with colleagues across the piece, for a number of programs, and the engagement and the work that we're doing with these to develop these new programs have been really exciting and really amazing. I've really enjoyed doing it. We're working with cutting edge people, we're working with top-notch academics, and we're developing really engaging and active programs that you can work with where you work here when you're in here. So we have particular strengths in health computing and management, which you'll find. And the programs are designed to work around your personal circumstances. They're part-time, they include few synchronous activities or times that you might have to be there in person. And they offer flexibility in terms of when and where you study. I also look after the recruitment staff of the teaching staff, and I can assure you that we have a really rigorous and comprehensive process for recruiting individuals who have been excellent subject knowledge, but are really have a real emphasis on the teaching and learning and supporting students as well, particularly within the online environment. So when we look for tutors and we look for lecturers to support you on your programs, they have to have experience in the online environment as well as really good university experience as well. A lot of my teaching colleagues have actually been involved in the development as well. So you'll get some people who are really committed to the online delivery and the online ethos about bringing that. So it's really exciting time to be involved in online. And we think that we offer something a lot more than just coming in and seeing things and then going back out again. You'll be able to interact with your colleagues. And one of the real ethos that we have is we understand students bring with them professional and practical experience. And so our learning activities are actually grounded in those kinds of ideas as well in terms of a community of learning. So we expect you to work closely with your professional peers because in a university environment, you'll learn as much from your peers as you will from those academic staff that are leading on the sessions. And we're also supporting your academic learning with a lot of study skills areas and other support structures that you'll hear about later in this broadcast. So going back to the subjects now, we're working really closely with a number of teams to put on some really strong programs. The staff in Liverpool have been really an important part of the program development, and their experience is evident on the program materials. Many of the modules are actually written by Liverpool staff, and then they are developed by specially trained educational technologists to make sure that the materials are interesting and engaging. You won't find a simple reading list and that you have to do it yourself. You'll find that you're working with the learning platform, which you'll see later in this, and there's a lot of activities to build in. And students are expected to work together in groups and to learn from each other as well. So that's a really important part of our program. There's also a team of people that work together to make sure that the academic materials are at a very high standard. So I'm someone who likes to dot the I's and cross the T's. And so you'll get that depth of knowledge as well in terms of the referencing and all the elements that make sure that you are supported in your own individual studies and the areas that interest you. So within each of the programs, you'll get really good subject-specific knowledge as well as more general employability and other information to help you move on forward in your careers. I'm going to talk about the business modules, are the biggest programs now.
Heidi, you should see the business management courses on the screen now.
So there are a wide range of business and management programs, and they should address any of the career aspirations that you might have. The Liverpool Management School is triple accredited. It has the ASCSB, which is the Association for Advanced Collegiate Schools of Business accreditation, as well as EQUIS, the European Foundation for Management Development Quality Improvement System, and AMBO, which is the Association of Masters of Business Administrations. So the business school brings a lot of expertise and support to these programs, which you will benefit from as a student. The key aspects to the accreditation is the employability and the rigorous assessments, as well as the innovation in learning and teaching. So because they have the accreditations, we can assure you that you'll be working with some of the best management schools in the world. Moving on to the computer science programs. We have a large range of really good and exciting programs there that are actually really practically focused. And this will help you in the employment market because you'll actually get hands-on experience in programming as well as theoretical understanding of how systems work and what the thinking behind the programming that goes behind it. So it is one of the fastest growing sectors. Computer knowledge is applicable in all fields, and it has particular relevance in public sector and health fields at the moment as well. Obviously, we're thinking about it in terms of business, but I don't think we can discount the importance that all of these, that computing has in everything that we do now. So whatever you plan to move into, an understanding of computing offers great potential. Of all the programs we run, computing is the hardest to recruit lecturers for as well, because the job market is so buoyant. So it's really, really good. We hire very experienced people to lead on these programs, but there are some really good job opportunities. And we're looking at BCS accreditation at the moment. It's so the process has already been started for that if you're interested in that. But I've been working very closely with these materials, and I've learned so much myself about how important computing is in the industry and how wide-ranging those issues are. So I'll move on to the next slide, which is the postgraduate certificate in academic practice. This is a really focused program for those in the higher education sector. So this program will lead to automatic fellowship at the Higher Education Academy, and it's really geared to people who are actually working already in a higher education environment. So I'm happy to take questions about that later if there are any. And then our medicine and health sciences programs include the healthcare leadership and the Master of Public Health. And these programs are a bit different in nature, so between them. So it's important that you might read the prospective details carefully to find out the difference. The School of Health Science is world-renowned for its expertise, and you may have seen recent newspaper articles which feature staff commenting on the pandemic and acting as experts in the field. This program stems from a long and strong tradition. Academic staff at Liverpool contribute a great deal to this program. For the healthcare leadership, that's a combination of health and management principles. And this is a really good broad program for those that might be working in the healthcare sector. They might want to augment their leadership management skills, as well as getting a good knowledge of organizational structures. The first cohort of students has been really supportive of each other, and it's been fantastic working with them. They work really closely together, and I know they've all learned from each other. So, and there is an element of action research within this program. So you actually really get to hands-on experience that you can take directly to your employers or to your jobs straight away. So it provides underpinning in principles of leadership management and active reflective practice, but that helps to support your professional development. So those are really exciting programs. And our last suite of programs are the psychology programs. So, and these are always really popular options. So the health psychology is aimed mainly at psychology graduates who want to work in the growing field of health psychology. If you don't know much about it already, health psychology covers behavioral aspects of health, illness, and how society, culture, and identity all play a part in how people act, think, and feel. So this is aimed mainly at people who want to practice in health psychology. And the health psychologists work with people in terms of changing habits or behaviors which might make them ill or unwell, or who might find themselves in difficult situations where they might need to think about how they might change their own actions and behaviors to help themselves or those around them. The psychology conversion program is designed for students who might have already pursued a non-psychology degree, but have an interest in psychology. This program is ideal because of the flexibility in being able to pursue an interest you already have, but able to maintain your current job or career. If you're interested in this program, you're probably already aware of what they are, but the online option is what we can offer to a really good extent. So that's all I'd like to say about the programs. And I think now we'll have a demonstration of the virtual learning environment itself.
Yes, thank you, Ida. And I would say to everybody, if you are interested in learning more about any of those programs and just want to see, I suppose, the full offering that we have at the moment, you can download a prospectus from our website. I'll put the address on the screen there, but you will also see that prospectus. I'll find it quite easily by visiting the website. That's kind of got, I suppose, good information about all of the programs that we're offering at the moment that Ida just gave us a very quick summary of. So Stephen, I'll pass over to you now for the demonstration. You should be able to take control of the screen.
That's great. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Ida. So hopefully you can see my screen. So as part of this presentation, we'll actually be looking at the learning environment that you'll use as part of your online program. So I'm logged into the learning platform as a demo student. So everything you see is from a student's perspective. And the purpose of this section really is just to give you an idea about what it's like to study online with one of these programs that Ida just described. So the first thing to mention is there's one central learning platform for everything you'll need. Excuse me. So all your assignments, your discussion forums, lecture materials, reading materials, grades and feedback, and so on can be accessed through one central platform. We do point to other services throughout, but you'll have one set of credentials to access all those different platforms. And really the main thing about the learning environment is we try and make it nice and easy for you to use. So you're only ever a couple of clicks away from the resources that you'll need to complete your program. Also, the platform is mobile responsive, so you can access on your tablet, your mobile phone, laptop, PC, and so on, and it will respond depending on which device you're accessing through. So as part of this tour, what I'd like to do really is actually show you one of our taught modules and show an example of some content and how you engage with that content. So this is the VLE homepage, but what I'll do first actually is go into my dashboard as the demo student. So I click Get Started here. And then each student has a personalized dashboard. So you'll only see the modules that are relevant for your program of study. Now, not only will you see those taught modules, you'll also see some supporting material that you'll access throughout your program. So for example, we have a section on student services. We have some study skills resources. There's a careers hub. There's a whole suite of resources that you also access that go beyond just your taught modules on your program. But for this demo, I'm going to focus on, actually it's one of our AI modules, and I'll show you what the global trends in computer science module looks like. So click on the title of the module here. And now I'm taken to the module homepage. Again, we try and make the layout and the format nice and clean and simple for students to follow. So for example, on the module homepage, there's some introductory text, there's some learning outcomes, and on this page, I can see what's expected of me over the next 8 weeks. If I move to the left-hand side here, you can see the navigation menu for the module, and I'll work through some of these pages in just a second. I won't go into every one. We don't have time for everything, but you can see here that this particular module is broken up over 8 weeks of study, and each week contains a variety of different resources, and you can access each of these from the navigation. I'll go into one of these in just a second. Every module is supported by a lecturer. So in this case, it's a demo profile page here, but you can see there'll be contact details and office hours for the lecturer and a bit of a biography, giving some details of that lecturer. And their role really is to support any academic queries that you might have throughout this taught module. So, you might have some questions about the assessment or perhaps some of the reading material, and the lecturer will be there to support you with those academic queries. You also have student services that will support you with a wide range of other queries you might have, and some of my colleagues will come on to talk about that later in the webinar. But the lecturer's role is really to help with those academic queries that you might have over the 8-week module. On the left here, in additional resources, we have quick access to things like the grading criteria, so you can see how each piece of assessment is graded. There's a glossary for the module, a reading list, a video playlist. Some of these resources really wrap around the whole module, so aren't specific to a week of study. But again, you can see how quick and easy it is to get into some of these pages. The module has a deadline details page. So on here, we can see the schedule of assessment for this module. I'll just hold on this page for a second, because on this page, you can see a variety of different assessment methods. So for the first 3 weeks, we're being asked to contribute to a discussion forum. And I'll show you that forum in just a second. But you can see here, therefore, there are 3 deadlines that align with the forum. In week 5, there's a group work poster presentation. And then through weeks 5, 6, 7, there's another discussion forum. And then at the end, there's a report, or in this example, actually an essay to write, and a final deadline. These dates also populate your personalized calendar, so you can keep on top of those milestones throughout each module. And what will happen throughout the module is you'll receive feedback from your lecturer and also from your peers within the module on these pieces of assessment. So for example, as you contribute to discussion forums, you'll receive feedback from your peers in that module. But then at the end of the discussion forum, you'll receive a grade and you'll receive some formal feedback from your lecturer. And the idea being that you can then apply that feedback to the next discussion forum or the next piece of assessment. So instead of having one really heavily weighted assignment towards the end of a module, we break up the assessment throughout the modules to give you the opportunity to learn and develop throughout that 8-week period. And again, there's a variety of different types of assessments. So it could be group work activities, it could be perhaps you're giving a presentation, or reflective logs. There's a nice variety in each module, which is really important for the delivery of the program. In this module, there's also a series of live seminars. Now, this isn't the case in all the programs. In this particular module, there are 4 live seminars that are at a particular time. Now, if you can't attend these seminars, they'll also all be recorded, so you can always listen back to the recording afterwards. But if you do want to attend, it's a good opportunity to meet the lecturer, but also to meet your classmates and your peers in a live environment. And again, we use Zoom for these sessions, so really easy to come in and out of. But they are, on this program, they're optional. So it's up to you whether you can attend those sessions. So finally, I'll go into a week of study and just show you a little bit about what it looks like to study each week. So you can see we've separated the weeks in the navigation, and you can work through these in order, but basically each week has a particular topic. And again, we have some introductory text here to introduce the week. And then as I scroll down the page, there's a series of activities for you to work through as a student. Some of these activities might be group activities, but there'll be a variety here for you to work through. And I'll just show you a couple of examples. So first of all, we have a lecture cast. So if I click on the title of the lecture cast here, this will load up the lecture. And the lecturecast is our version. Let's go back to the homepage of the lecture. It's our version of a traditional lecture, but delivered online. So rather than give you an hour or 2 hours of someone talking through some slides, in quite a passive to be quite a passive experience, we break that content up into different formats of media, and that's what we call our lecturecast. So we still have the same body of content, we just present it in a variety of different formats, and it looks something like this. So we start with some introductory text, and then actually this demo student has already begun, so you can see they've started to complete these activities. But just to give you an idea about what it looks like, if I click play, the first step in the lecture in this example is a piece of video. And the video could be presented in terms, there could be some stock footage, there might be some animation. What you can't hear on the audio is that there's also a voiceover going over the back of this piece of video. And in this example, I think they're talking through the history of computing hardware. So there's a kind of an animation of a timeline on the screen. Really depends what the content is about and how we present it. But the idea, again, being that it's nice and cleanly presented. You might also notice this video is actually quite short. So the video is only about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, this first one. And if I click pause and continue through the lecture, you can see on the next step of this first little section, I actually now have a timeline which is presented in a different format. So it's not all video, it's not all text, and there's a variety of content for you to work through. But what you'll also find that there are regular points within this content for you to check your understanding. So you can see here at the end of the intro section to check your knowledge activity. And if I work through this, I've got 5 short questions. I'll do my best to answer these. This is not my field, but if you work through these questions, you can see there are different types of questions. So we've got multiple choice. I think I know the answer to that one. We've got text entry. It might be drag and drop. There are different types of activities that students are asked to do. Now, these don't contribute to the final grade, but what they do give me is an opportunity just to check that I've understood the content that's gone before I then proceed on to the rest of the content. And what I can also do then is perhaps when I finish this first section, I could think, right now I've got to go and perhaps do a piece of reading, or I might have to go and go to work or do some other commitment, and I can come back and work to this content in a time frame that's convenient to me as a student. So I'll come out of the lecture and I'll go back to week 1. So that's an example of a lecture cast, and you'd expect to see one of those almost every week, generally introducing the key topics. But then there are further activities off the back of that. So here we have, again, I won't click through all these. We have an activity where we're asking students to complete a poll, and then they discuss the results of that poll. We have some reading material. So if you click onto the reading page, we have a reading list for the week. Now you can see there is one big reading list for the whole module, but we also break that up week by week. So you know really what you should be reading each week, rather than having to wade through quite big reading lists. We give you that direction there as well to help you focus on the reading that's relevant for that week. And I think the final activity, if I scroll down a little further, is there's a discussion forum. So if I click into the discussion forum, you can see here I've got it lasts for 3 weeks. So I've got some instructions, a discussion topic, and then there's also some guidance. So if I click on the little guidance icon here, you'll see the little support tab opens up on the right, and this will give me guidance on how to complete a discussion forum. If I was writing an essay, I'd get a similar article for essay writing or report writing and so on. So we give you that extra support as well. But all I would do is add my topic. I can add my subject in here, add my message to the class, and if I click post to forum, that will then display as a discussion thread, and then my peers on the discussion forum will be able to respond to my contribution. And this really is where you can collaborate with your fellow students from all sorts of different backgrounds, not just international backgrounds, different career backgrounds, and so on. You can really get that depth of experience through these collaborative discussion forums. So that's an example of a forum. And then I think if I go back to week 1, there perhaps was one other activity this week. You can see, yes, there's a technology blog. So here we're asking the class to post to a blog. And we can see here there's a slight indication on the hours required for each of these activities. If it's assessed, you can also see the grade weighting that would go into that piece of assessment. The main idea really is that we keep this nice and simple for students to work through. The delivery is consistent, but also there's a variety of activities for you to work through as you go through these modules. So it's not just, like I said at the beginning, we don't just send you a reading list and then get you to write an essay. They're really engaging, interactive modules that we prepare for you. So hopefully that gives you a snapshot of what it's like to study online with us. I'll stop sharing my screen, and in the next part of the presentation, I think we're moving on to student services. So I'll let Ben load up the slides again.
That's great. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for that nice overview of the learning platform there. So at this point, I think I'm going to pass over to you, Rachel. We're going to now talk about student services, the different functions we offer in terms of support, help with study skills and student welfare. So Rachel, are you there? Can you pick up from this slide, please?
Yes, thanks, Ben. So just to lead on from what Ben was saying there, I'll first introduce you to our student support team, who are part of student services. And really it's just to give you a better understanding on how we can support you throughout your studies and your learning journey. So we are your first point of contact for any non-academic queries, which can range into several different queries of different natures, which we'll look at in a moment. But it's just quite reassuring to know that any student across any different course can contact us and contact the dedicated student support team as well. So please feel free to reach out when you do come over and start your programme, and we'll be able to help you or signpost you in the right direction. So within our team, we're made up of several different advisors, and each team member can provide guidance on specific queries that may range from non-academic queries to pastoral and to technical as well. And as I just mentioned, if you do get in touch with any queries that maybe we can't support you with or directly assist with, we should be able to signpost you in the right direction as well. So maybe refer you to the most appropriate person or appropriate department, or look into your query as well and provide further advice. So as your first point of contact, we'll just have a look at the kind of areas that we can provide guidance and advice on as well. So in terms of that, you can contact us with any queries in non-academic nature. You can also contact us with any pastoral queries as well, and any technical queries that may relate to the learning platform or the online library, for example. So to give you a bit more of an overview, if you were to contact us for any non-academic queries, these can range from a variety of different reasons. So for example, you may wish to get in touch with us regarding your speed of study, so we can advise on when you may be able to finish your course, your upcoming modules as well. So I believe that when you go through the admissions phase, you'll be given a study planner, which will outline your study path. And once you begin your programme, you can contact us and we can always help you answer any questions relating to that study planner as well. We understand, throughout your course as well, there'll be highs and lows of studying and online academically. So you can reach out to us with any pastoral queries as well. And that kind of leads on to my next point. If you were ever looking to take a study break, we can provide guidance on the types of breaks available. And you can always have a chat with a member of the team about anything that's going on as well. And we can always provide the right dedicated advice for you, depending on what your query is and the nature of your query and what you're kind of looking for. So that kind of brings us on to the pastoral part as well. Whilst we can assist you with any queries directly relating to your studies, like I said, if you are experiencing anything that may be impacting on your ability to study, we would obviously like to try and support you as much as we can with that, and whether that would result in maybe a study break, or we can look at your choices on the course as well, or even just have a catch up about how you're doing and provide reassurance, on your grades, on your student profile, things like that. So you can always reach out to us for queries of that nature. We also do have several processes and policies in place, like study breaks, that we can provide guidance and advice on. So if you have experienced any circumstances that have impacted you, maybe during a module, please do reach out to us, and we can advise you on the most appropriate process that we can look at. So Finally, we can also assist with technical queries as well, and these may relate to queries to do with the online platform. So for example, if you're looking to find a certain page or a certain resource, you can come to us and we can always advise you on where to find this. So this can also relate to the online library as well. We do have a specific team that can help you with queries for the library, but if you're ever unsure, you can contact us, so we can always look into this for you, or as I said, signpost you over to someone who can help. So you can contact the student support team through a range of different methods as well. For example, you can always give us a call, specifically if it's quite a detailed query, you'd really like to talk it through with a member of the team, you can always give us a call and we'll be more than happy to talk anything through with you. You can also contact us via email. So maybe if it's something that we might need to look into for you, or you maybe investigate our specific policy, you can always send us an email over and we'll get back to you as soon as we can, once we've looked into it for you as well. And finally, you also can contact us via live chat, which is a messaging feature via our learning platform. This is really good for quick queries. So like we were saying before, if you have any queries on where to find a specific resource on the learning platform, or maybe you're looking for something in your module, or how to upload an assignment, just things like that, you can always contact us over live chat, which will allow you to speak with a member of the student support team in real time. So there'll be an agent and team member available there for you to talk to during our available hours as well. So just a final reminder before I do pass over to study skills, we are your first point of contact. So even if it was an academic query, if you were to get in touch with us, we can point you in the right direction or look into it for you, or maybe point you over to your module lecturer. But no matter what your query is, please do contact the student support team and we'll be more than happy to help and look into it for you. So I'll now just pass you over to study skills.
That's great. Thank you, Rachel. I will just remind anybody, I suppose, joining us a little bit later this afternoon, that we are taking Connect questions as we go along. We'll answer questions at the end, but if you do have any questions as we're sort of going through this webinar, please use the chat or the Q&A button to ask us. I can see one or two questions have come in that we'll address at the end. But yes, please do feel free to ask questions if you have any as we go along. So Teresa, hopefully you can see the study skills slide on the screen. I'll pass over to you.
Thank you, Ben. My name is Teresa and I work for the Study Skills team as a Study Skills advisor. The Study Skills team will help you with those general academic questions that you may have throughout your course, and we will provide guidance on study skills tips such as academic writing, assignment structure, referencing, time management, reading and research, and so on. We have a Study Skills hub that is located in the virtual learning platform that you can visit in your own time, and you will be able to find loads of resources there, different types of resources, lecture cards, videos, some quizzes as well, and in those general academic aspects. We also offer one-to-one academic sessions that are held on Zoom with one of our advisors. We have study skills advisors, and we also have a specific English advisors for those students that need extra help with the English language. And in those academic sessions that are held on Zoom, we will give you further support in specific academic areas as the ones that we have already mentioned. So for instance, imagine that you receive a feedback and you would like to have a chat with us. We are able to do so, and we will provide you with resources to help you improve those study skills further. Same as the student support team. Our team can be reached by email or by phone call, and it's important to mention that we are on hand to help students at any point in your studies. So from the beginning to the end, you can always get in touch with us and we will be there to help you with general academic skills. So yeah, that's the study skills team. If you have any questions, feel free to put that in the Q&A chat box, and I will pass it on to my colleague Matt now. Thank you.
Okay, Matt, I should bring the next slide up for you there.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Teresa. So hello, everybody. My name is Matt Tamplin. I'm the Head of Student Experience and Welfare. I'd like to just talk to you about a few of the welfare services that we can provide you should you need them at any point. The main aspect really to talk about today is about disability support and what we call reasonable adjustments. So if you are a student with any form of disability, medical condition, mental health illness, or learning difficulty, then you can apply to be assessed for what we call reasonable adjustments, which would be adjustments that we could potentially make to your course to ensure that you're not studying at any unfair disadvantage, and that you have that equal opportunity to engage with your studies and succeed, just as all of your peers do. We like to be quite creative with our adjustments, and sort of to work with you as our students on what is best for you. So it's very much a two-way conversation that we have with you. So if you do look at joining us, and that is an area that applies to you, I'd urge you to get in contact with the disability team, and we can have that conversation. It's something that you can, a conversation you can start at the very beginning while you're thinking of enrolling with the course. But if you decide to start without that in place, it's still something you can return to later on during your studies. At any point, you can contact us and ask for that to be reviewed. Even if you are provided with adjustments, should your situation change and a condition that you might have, it might maybe exacerbates over time, then again, we are more than happy to return to that with you, open up that conversation and review what adjustments would now be more appropriate for you. So we want to make it really clear that that is something that should not be of any deterrent to any students. We'll do everything we can that is reasonably within our remit, that we can actually support you with and give guidance to as well. We also do have designated safeguarding officers for the organisation. I am one of those. It's something that we hope students would never need to use, sort of a service or a procedure we'd never need to go down, but it's important that as students, you know that it's something we take very seriously, the safety of our students. Being an online provider doesn't change that. We do take it very seriously, and we do have formal processes and policies in place to support and protect you. So should you ever have any concerns about a fellow student, or should a member of staff have concerns about a student and their safety, then we have mechanisms in place where that can be formally reported, investigated, and potentially reported to the relevant authorities if that's necessary. So again, that's something that is in place to support and protect you as our students, representing our duty of care towards you. And finally here, we do have a range of wellbeing and mental health resources available on the learning platform. This is an area that is always growing. Again, it's extremely important to us, and being online does not change that one iota. So there may be ideas that you would have as students and resources you would like to see added to the learning platform, in which case, please do get in contact with us and again, be part of that conversation and sort of be part of growing those resources that we can offer to the whole student body. But hopefully there is enough resources there to support you alongside your studies, especially in the year that we've all had. These are increasingly important to make sure that you look after yourself so that you can be as successful as possible while on the course. That's everything I'd like to talk about for student welfare. So back to you, Ben.
That's great. Thank you for that, Matt. We're now going to move on to talk about the admissions and enrolment process, followed by any questions after this next part from the admissions team. So Abby, are you there? Can you take over from this slide, please?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Abby and I'm an admissions advisor for the online programs. So today I'll just be taking you through the process for the online programs and how you would maybe go about making an application and any queries you might have throughout that process. So we'll just start by going over the process step by step. So as you can see, when you first inquire about a program, you'll be assigned an advisor like myself, and you can inquire either by telephone, email, live chat, or if you go online, you can fill out an inquiry form, and you'll be assigned an advisor within, I think we aim to do it in about 48 hours, but you'll get assigned an advisor, and then we'll come through to you and contact you about the program. So that advisor that you get on the initial point of contact will stay with you throughout the process, so up until you've enrolled on the program, so you don't need to worry about working with other people. You'll just be set with one advisor. So we can talk you through the process and any questions you have about the program, so maybe costs, length of study, things like that. We'd just let you know everything about the program and then see if you would be interested in applying, and then we can guide you through that process as well. So to go on to applying, you can do it by visiting the website or by filling out an application form that your advisor will be happy to send you. And then we can advise you on how to do that if you've got any trouble, and then we can begin processing it with you. So once you complete the form, you'll be asked to add some supporting documentation, but I'll go over that again at the end. But and there's also no costs for applying at all, so it's completely free and it just comes directly to us. So once you've applied and your application is being reviewed, we would aim to do that, I think, within 10 working days. You'll receive a result on your application, and it will get reviewed by the admissions team and also by the Director of Studies for your chosen programme. And then if your application is successful, we go on to what we call a pre-enrollment review. So that'll be a 10 to 15 minute chat with your advisor, and it'll just let you know what would be expected of you. So student expectations, what kind of technology you'll need, if you've got all the resources, and then kind of outline the hours of study we'll need from you, just so you're aware of what would be required. And then we can also answer any questions that you've got about the programme at the end of that interview as well. And then once you've received your offer letter, you can accept the offer, and you'll be taken to a place where you can make your deposit payment, and that is an online portal. And then you'll be enrolled on the programme and then transferred over to student support, who we heard from earlier. So if we can go on to the entry requirements slide, please. So for the entry requirements, these do differ depending on the programme. So the specific entry requirements for each programme can be found on the page on our website. And if you do have any queries about the entry requirements, if you're not quite sure whether you'd be a good fit for the programme, the advisor will be happy to help you with this. But generally, there are kind of two routes of entry. So you've got the academic basis, which you can see an example there. So it would maybe be a 2-1 degree class equivalent. Or you can go through the professional route, which would be substantial work experience in a related field and other prior qualifications as well. So sometimes, however, you will need a specific undergraduate degree or equivalent to be eligible for a programme. So, for example, the health psychology programme, as said before, is quite a specialist programme. So we would need some previous academic experience in psychology. But if you do have any questions about your suitability, or if your experience would match up to the programme, then do let us know and we'll be happy to advise you. And then also that you can see that for international applicants, you must have a minimum standard of English, and you're required to provide evidence of this. So the specific requirements will be again listed on the entry requirements on the course page. But if you have any questions about that, do let us know. And we do also offer an in-house English language test called KITE. Maybe if you don't have an IELTS or a TOEFL certificate, and we can always help you through that. And that will also provide as evidence of English language for you. And if we can go on to the tuition fee slide, please. So as you can see, we offer a variety of programs, and the fees, they do vary depending on the program that you choose. So the standard fee for a Masters of Science would be £18,000, and for the Masters of Public Health, that would be the same. For the Master of Business Administration, that one would be £21,000. And then the length for each Masters program would be 30 months as listed on the slide. But if you decided you want to go for a shorter program, maybe the postgraduate award or the certificate, the length and fees for this program are listed on the slide, and they might be a bit of a better fit for you. And the fees are also inclusive of all costs, so study materials, resits. The tuition fee would cover everything that you would need for the program. So the fees listed on the slide are for the current academic year. So if you would be interested in applying maybe in a few years, do just keep your eye on the fees, because they might vary slightly. And also we do have a 21-day money back guarantee if you think that online study might not be right for you. And then also for discounts and scholarships, so we do offer a 15% scholarship for some programs for this academic year. So if you're wondering whether your program will be partaking in this, do let your admissions advisor know, and they can let you know whether the program is part of this. And for this scholarship as well, there's nothing that you need to do, no application necessary, as all students on the particular programs will be eligible. So the discount will be automatically applied, and then it'll be shown to you in your payment plan when you receive that with the discount added. Also, there is a 5% discount if you pay the full tuition fee up front. That can be used in conjunction with the scholarship. So we do offer two ways that you can pay. So it can either be upfront and you'll receive that 5% discount, or you can split the tuition fee into monthly payments. So if you're starting, for example, a master's that's £18,000, you would pay monthly instalments of £600, and the scholarship reduction will also apply to these monthly payments. And then finally, as well, if you're a previous student from the University of Liverpool, you can get a 10% alumni discount, but that cannot be used in conjunction with the 15% scholarship. So after hearing all the process, the fees, things like that, if you think you're ready to begin your application, you can find the application form on our website, or you can go on the link that's listed on the slide, and then or the admissions team will always be happy just to point you in the right direction if you're not quite sure. So the application, as said, can be submitted on the website. And when you go to make your application, it's just really helpful if you do have the following documents prepared. So your advisor would be able to process your application as quickly as possible. So what we would need from you would be a photographic ID. So say a passport or a driving license that's in date would be perfect. An up-to-date copy of your CV. Copies of your educational certificates, so uni certificates, transcripts, translated versions, if that would be applicable for you, and then a personal statement, so it would be quite short, 300 to 500 words. Your advisor can always help you if you're a bit stuck on this, but we typically want things like your experience, why you're interested in the programme, and where you think it might be able to take you in the future. We'd also like a letter of recommendation. This can come from your employer, maybe a manager or a supervisor who's worked closely with you, or maybe someone that's worked with you academically before, so a tutor, and they can just attest to your abilities and why they think you'd be a good fit for our programme. And then finally, as mentioned, we would need evidence of English language proficiency for international applicants, so an IELTS or TOEFL certificate, or the KITE test, as I mentioned before. But if you're unsure about any of these documents, please just let your admissions advisor know and they can talk you through it.
That's great. Thank you for that, Abby. And if you have any questions, we're happy to take them at this point of the webinar. I know some have come in already through the chat and the Q&A. So if you do have any questions, you can use a Q&A button that you'll see towards the bottom of your screen to drop those in there. There's also the chat feature here in Zoom as well. So we've got some questions that have come through. So I'll read those out. We'll answer those in a second. And obviously, you can also, after this webinar, go to our website, the address on the screen there for the website, and also the link to the page where you would apply. Important to note, we have start dates throughout the year for all of the online programs. Just a question actually, Abby, on I suppose the international requirements for the English language proficiency. You've had a question from Adel asking, do we accept the Duolingo test?
So no, we're not able to accept the Duolingo test, but as I said, we do offer the free in-house English test, so it doesn't cost you anything, and we can set it up with you online. It takes about 2 hours, I think, to get the test completed, and you'll get your results immediately. So I know people are not able to maybe sit the IELTS or the TOEFL exam at the moment, but that's not a problem, as we can do it with you.
Great, thank you, Abby. I'll just go to the open questions in the Q&A, just see what's come through there. I think a few things might have come through there. Again, another admissions question, I think, Abby. Godwin's got a master's degree in law and is considering going into lecturing, so intends to apply for the postgraduate certificate in academic practice. Would like to know the tuition fee for the course as a home students, and if there's a scholarship available or a payment plan available. So that's for the PG cap.
All right, so for the PG CAP programme, the full tuition fee is £6,000, and this can be paid for either upfront and you'd receive the 5% discount, or you can make the payments through monthly payments of £600. The 15% scholarship does not apply for that programme, but it does apply for some of the other full master's programmes. Has that covered all the points? I can't remember.
I think so, Abby. And
Okay,
again, so Godwin, the fees are listed on the website. There's a program page or a course page for that particular program on the site. Information about the fees that specific course can be seen there, as well as in the prospectus. If you want to download the prospectus from the website, it's also got full details on tuition fees for that course in there too. I was going to say as well, Abby, a question I've had a bit earlier was about perhaps the best way for somebody to find out about a specific course is if somebody's interested in a particular program or would like to know about differences between programs. Is there a best way for somebody to go about finding that information?
Well, you can always look on the website, which will have the program information. But if you're kind of wanting to know the differences, maybe career prospects wise, things like that, then you can fill out an inquiry form or use one of the other methods of contact, and then your advisor will get in touch with you, and then you can discuss that with them. But if there's any kind of academic specific queries they're not able to answer, they'll be more than happy to send that to the Director of Studies, and then they'll get back to you with an in-depth look at the programmes.
That's great. But a question from Ashwin, actually. It's along similar lines, really. Says, good day. Can you help me to understand the difference between, I suppose, a couple of courses, the MSc in Artificial Intelligence and the MSc in Data Science and Artificial Intelligence? To be more precise, which amongst the two courses will I be learning topics such as deep learning, natural language processing, etc.? I don't know if you perhaps know the answer to that here, Abby, to answer live, or if we would like to perhaps take that away and answer after this session to go into the exact details. Again, I know information is in the prospectus and on the website. Do you have an answer here, or would you like to perhaps pick that up after?
I'll pick that up later. I could give you an answer, but I really don't want to give out incorrect information, so I'll double check it and then I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I think there are some similarities between the two programs. But I
can pick this one up if you like.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. So natural language processing and deep learning feature on both programs. The difference between the data science and the artificial intelligence is the data science is going to have more mathematics, and it has a bit more of a preparation pathway for the computing. So if you have programming experience and are already working in a quite closely with computing in your job, artificial intelligence might be is for more advanced practitioners in computing, whereas the data science will give you a bit more of a platform. But both of them contain deep learning and natural language processing, as well as multi-agent systems. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Ida. That's really helpful. Thank you. Again, I'll just remind people, if you have any questions at this point, we're happy to take them. You can use the chat to ask those questions, or the Q&A button that you'll see if you're on, I think, on a laptop or desktop computer here in Zoom towards the bottom of your screen. So please keep those kind of questions coming through. We've still got, I suppose, quite a few minutes to answer those. But we'll go back to some questions we had, I think, through a little bit earlier on. A question, I think, perhaps for you, Stephen, a question that kind of came in. A student asking, how comfortable do I need to be with technology to start as a student with Liverpool online programs?
Yeah, I mean, the platform's designed to be, really easy to work through. So as long as you can use basic word processors and navigate, websites and things, you should be absolutely fine, really. Where there are more sort of complicated activities, we also provide additional support and guidance material on how to do that. So if it's some kind of group work activity, or even just things like how to use Zoom, lots of user guides on those kind of things as well. So we give you support for using the platform. If you're not comfortable, we'll work with you to get through that. But it's very easy to use, really.
That's great, thank you. A question, I don't know, you sort of touched on it in your part of the presentation today about the different perhaps assessment methods across the different programs. A question we had earlier from somebody is, will I need to sit exams as a typical student on the online programs? Is that something that's kind of would apply to all programs or some of the programs? Maybe just perhaps a little bit more on the different methods of assessment.
Almost all the assessment is coursework. We may have to have an examination for the MBA program, but for all the other programs, it's assessed by coursework. So we use discussion boards, so those would be online seminars. We have a notion that we should have authentic assessments. So again, wherever possible, the assessments will actually be what you would find in the workplace. We think very carefully, making sure that students aren't just doing essays or university work. They're actually applied assessments that have relevance in the real professional world. So we build those in, but the programs I'm currently developing don't include any examinations. So, but we may be having a couple going forward.
That's great, thank you. Also, we've been talking about the online part-time programs today. Ida, Abby, is there any difference in the certificate the students receive on completion of their program compared to if they were to be studying for the program on campus? Abby, did you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So no, there is no difference whatsoever. So if you studied on campus or if you study online, you'll get the same certificate. There's no mention of online study on the certificate. And you can also just get confirmation of this on the website as well. So it is listed just so you've got it in writing as well.
That's great, thank you. And I think, Ida, just coming back, I suppose, to assessment, we've had a question through the Q&A from Ashwin, considering the online programme in MSc Artificial Intelligence, and asks, can the final year project or thesis be submitted through online, or else do you insist on attending the university, the college, to submit the final dissertation project?
The submissions would all be online. Graduates are invited to attend a live graduation session, but other than that, we wouldn't expect students to go to Liverpool. If they happen to be local to the area, they will be able to visit the campus and use some of the facilities, but otherwise it's all online, so there's no requirement to submit anything in person.
That's great, thank you. I can also say to people, if you have got any questions at this point, please use the chat or the Q&A to send those through. Rachel had a question in, asking a bit earlier on, will I get a lot of interaction with other students, my peers and tutors as a typical online student? Is that something that they could expect a lot of or not so much of?
Yeah, so throughout your programme, depending on your course as well, you will probably have the opportunity in specific modules to have direct contact with other students and lecturers. So for example, we really do like building the sense of an online community, and this can be done especially through the collaborative discussion forums within specific modules as well. So through these discussion forums, you can interact with other students academically, and we do have features on the platform as well, which allow you to speak with other students. Too, for example, we have our messaging feature, which allows you to do this. So it's as much interaction as you would like. You may have assessments depending on your module as well, that include group work, which allow you to interact with others as well. But it's completely depending on the module and how much you'd like to interact with other students.
That's great. Thank you for that, Rachel. Question I think come through on the Q&A. I'm just looking to see what's come through. It's from an anonymous attendee who's received a conditional offer letter for MSc in Big Data and High Performance Computing with a year in industry. Just wanted to know if it might be possible to change the course, I suppose, to our Data Science and Artificial Intelligence programme, but with a year in industry. I don't know if, Ida, you might be able to take a look at that one or give some advice on that one.
Yeah, sure, I'll pick that up. We don't offer programs that have a formal industrial experience because many of our students are actually working at the same time. So, so most of the student cohort will actually be working as practitioners. So the industrial experience isn't as a high priority for them. So we wouldn't offer anything equivalent to that. But you would get the same academic knowledge that you would do on the other program, if that makes sense.
Okay, thanks, Ida. And I suppose as well, if there's sort of any kind of query following on from that, Abby, you'd probably be happy to talk with that person, I suppose, as part of the admissions process as well, just to sort of talk about that a bit further if needed.
Yeah, of course. So if there are any queries that you have about online study, so yeah, we don't offer any year in industry at the moment. So if that would be something that would be worrying for you, or you'd want to know if that would eventually be a part of any programs, just speak with us and we can advise you further.
That's Great, thank you. Coming back, I suppose, Abby, I think you did answer this in the presentation actually, but we had a question earlier about, I suppose, the different methods of payment, and a question, can I pay as I study? I suppose perhaps, I think you maybe mentioned it on an ongoing basis, perhaps per module, but that might be an option for somebody looking to, suppose, spread the cost of the payment during their studies.
Yeah, of course. So, like I said, we offer the upfront payment option, or you can choose to pay every month. So, for the for master's programs, the tuition fee would be £18,000, and the monthly payment would be £600. And that is every month that you're required to pay. So it wouldn't be like quarterly. I know I get a few people who ask that, or termly. It is just either the upfront or the monthly payments.
That's great, thank you. Now, we had a question earlier, obviously, the slides that we showed at the very beginning with the different programs on listed the different, I suppose, awards that are available. So obviously we have awards in postgraduate certificate, postgraduate diploma, as well as the full masters. Is it possible for a student to start on one of those awards and then progress to the full masters? Is that an option for a student to do?
Absolutely, that's a really good way to start your program. So our admissions teams can help you, guide you through the process, but certainly that's a really good way to start out. Put your toe in the water, see what it's like, and then transfer to the full MSc. The programs are flexible enough to allow that progression, and they're structured in that kind of way that you can start and then build on your program as you go through. So admissions can help you more, but yes, absolutely, that's a really good way to approach this.
That's excellent, thank you. We're coming close to the end of the time. I'll just leave another couple of minutes just in case there are any more questions that come in through the chat and the Q&A, and please do ask those questions in these last 2 or 3 minutes if you have any. We also had a question, Abby, just on, I suppose, the start dates. Someone asked a little bit earlier on, how often are the start dates for the courses during the year?
So there are multiple start dates. These can be found on the program page on our website. So say, for example, the healthcare leadership program, that one has start dates in June, August and October. For the new business courses, so like marketing management, I think their start dates are primarily on the 12th of October, but the start dates are regularly throughout the year, and you can keep your eye on, like I said, the web page just to check when the nearest start date would be or which one would be best for you.
That's great, thank you. Just looking to see if there's anything else that's come through the chat or the Q&A. I don't think it has done. Of course, I've left the slide up there on the screen for the website address, so please do use the contact form or the chat on our website if you've got any questions going away from this session. I'll just say at this point, thank you to all of today's speakers, and I said at the beginning, a recording is going to be made available to everybody who registered for the event. I'll be sending that recording around over email in the next few days. We'll also put this recording up on our YouTube channel, so we'll have a chance to refer back to today's presentation, I suppose, at any time in the future. But yeah, please do contact our team via the website if there's anything that you kind of go away and think that you wish you'd asked during this session. I also really look forward to welcoming some of you onto our programs in the near future. Really hope to see some of you again soon. So thank you again to all the presenters, and thanks to everybody who attended today, and enjoy your afternoons. Thank you.